Tessa from Mama's Geeky here. Thank you so much for stopping by my YouTube channel.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm really, really good.
Well, thank you so much for joining me today. I've got to say, first of all, I loved Love and Monsters. And one of my favorite parts about it was all the creatures. Because I love that kind of stuff. So good job. Bravo.
Thank you. Thank you.
So everyone here joining us, Stephen Boyle is the creature effects lead for Love and Monsters, which is now available on 4K Ultra HD, Blu-ray, DVD. And so why don't you tell us a little bit about your role?
Well, my role, I came in, I had a friend who introduced me to the project who I've worked with on and off for the last 20 years, a very good friend of mine. And when I came on board, they were already designing the creatures. So they had a pretty good idea where they wanted things to go. I remember at the time, it was a decision between this job and another one. And when I saw the designs that they had, I thought, oh yeah, no, I've got to get this at any cost, because it was just crazy off the wall designs. And yeah, just mutated creatures, all asymmetrical, all the stuff that inspired you to get into movies in the first place. So yeah, I thought, no, I gotta get on this. So my job was basically to head up a practical crew where we did the sculpting and the mold making and the fabrication of the silicon puppets, creature suits, the robot puppets for Mavis, which was all done practically. Yeah, and because I thought she was going to be digital, and there was a conversation early on where everyone was like, we don't know if it's going to be digital or practical. And when they said we want to go practical and do all her stuff as a physical puppet, I was totally terrified and excited at the same time. I was like, no, don't say practical. And God, I'm glad we did it practically. So it was, yeah, just amazing. So we got to build all that stuff. A lot of the creatures were digital, or, you know, they had digital additions to the practical stuff that we built. But that was okay. We still ended up building a lot more practical stuff than what the original plan was.
Well, I mean, it looked amazing. And so you've been doing this kind of stuff for a while now. So there's been a ton of advances, I can only imagine, technologically over even just the last few years. So do you prefer, because it's funny you brought this up, like, do you prefer practical or digital, or you kind of both? Or
I'm in love with both. I think that, like, I've come from a practical background, and like that, where it was all, yeah, there was very little digital when I got into this stuff, you know, and it's always, I got into the industry as it became really turbulent, as, you know, stuff like Jurassic Park came out and everyone was like, that's it, practical effects are gone forever. But I've always loved that, because it's, yeah, I've loved the fact that you can build something practically or digitally, or a combination of the both. I just think it's the best possible thing. Like, I don't know why people have such debates about it, you know, but I love all of it, if it's done well.
So what's the process like to create these creatures?
Well, we get either we design something ourselves, or in the case of Love and Monsters, they had these, you know, wonderful designs already by Andrew Baker. And we just set to work. We sculpt them out of the clay, would mold them in fiberglass or silicon, and spend a lot of time trying to get like the right, just to have the skin do the right thing, because they had to interact or attack people and do all this kind of stuff. Probably the most fun and low tech, I should add, was the buzzard in the shower, in the bunker that's kind of stepping over the shower curtain. We just put Toby Barron, who's one of my closest friends and one of the guys I worked with forever, we put him inside the suit, and like all the mandibles were just his hands inside.
Oh.
So there was no cables or anything, or animatronics or anything, as low tech as it gets. But it just works so well.
That's so cool.
Yeah, and then once we, you know, had these stuff, we painted them, we put quills on them, tubes for slime. We went through a lot of slime. Rehearsed them on set and shot them.
Now, I'm sure it's like asking you to pick your favorite child, but like if you had to pick a favorite creature from Love and Monsters that you designed or you created, which one would it be?
It would be the buzzard in the bunker or Mavis. I think, that Mavis scene was just, it was just beautiful. I remember when we filmed it on the night, because there was a lot of apprehension that everyone was afraid that it was actually the most bizarre experience, because I could feel the fear and the pressure of everyone on our, freaking out that we weren't going to have Mavis ready on time. But at the same time, they didn't really pressure us or, they really respected that we just needed to be left alone to build this thing. That first night we shot her outside with Dylan, you could feel it. Everyone just shut up and they weren't watching the shot being filmed. They were watching the movie. And the actress who does the voice, Melanie, she was right there on the set doing the voice of Mavis at the same time.
That's cool.
Toby Barron was being the puppeteer and totally synced in with Dylan's performance. It was just real. It was a real movie in that moment. So I think that's probably my favorite scene, because all the elements came together beautifully. But in terms of the creature, building it in the workshop, probably the buzzard, because it's slimy, deformed, gross, and just the sort of thing I love.
I agree with you. I mean, I love that scene. That scene is just it's like the heart of the movie, and I love it. Yeah. But I know you've worked on some TV shows as well. So is there a major difference working on a TV show versus a movie?
Not really. I mean, obviously, you have to conserve your energy differently because it's over such a long period of time. But no, with TV, I love doing both. I certainly don't let there be any difference in quality. I like everything I do to be the highest that we can do with the time that we've got. One of the nice things, I did 3 seasons of Harrow. The 3rd season's about to come out. And so we were doing, all these creatures for Love and Monsters and for other stuff, and then sort of going and doing autopsies for Harrow. And it's really nice having just been able to mix and match and do ultra real stuff and then fantasy creatures where you can just let go. But the other thing that's nice about TV, if you're doing the same sort of thing again, like the autopsies or like medical stuff, you just get to improve it and test it and do it again and do it again and do it again because it's in another episode. Mm-hmm. But something like Love and Monsters, you don't have that. You sort of have that one chance. Yeah.
So Star Wars, I saw on your IMDb, you got to be in front of the camera. You had a cameo in it.
I did. I had played 2 characters. One was pretty much cut out, which I was gutted. I was so disappointed, not because I was cut out, but because I was acting with my mentor, with my hero, idol in life, which was Christopher Lee. Oh man, the memories I have of that guy. But yes, I did. I was working for a company called J&B Effects at the time, and we went down to Sydney to do it. And I can't remember how. I think they wanted someone in the suit who was involved in putting it together, so they probably wouldn't complain about it. I played the Senator Askak, which was the 3-eyed, 3 kind of guy. It was just awesome fun. It was just so much fun because it was like just being in this creature suit, walking out on set, with Samuel Jackson and George Lucas and this little Yoda stand-in and all these people in prosthetics. It was as amazing as you imagine it is,
I'm sure.
I would love to do that again.
Yeah, because I was looking at your IMDb and I was like, oh, he was only in one thing. And I thought, would you like to get the chance to be able to do that again? But clearly sounds like that'd be a yes.
Yeah, it's it's a really good thing. I think because it was so early on in my career. I'd done a lot of TV before that, but I think that was probably my biggest feature of that, or one of the very first features I did.
Mm-hmm.
And to have that kind of experience was just amazing because I'm not easily intimidated after that, which is certainly well.
That's true.
Yeah.
So if someone wanted to get into this line of work, what advice would you give them? My daughter loves to sculpt, and she always says she wants to make things for movies. So
Yeah. You know what the good thing is there is just such an abundance of information on how to do this stuff. But I would think it's two things. It's really hounding someone and really creating an awareness of your work. I think people try and become really good artists and hope that that's going to be enough, but it just isn't. It's the pool has gotten so much bigger, and you really need to be able to make that impression. And I think the other thing is focus on not matching what other people have made, but finding a way that you are building something where you have your own interpretation of it and your own initiative, because that's what gets people looking at your stuff, is when you do something differently. That's certainly what happened with me. I was getting offered work because I was doing designs where based on creatures that people hadn't seen before, and I was getting work because of that.
Well, I've got to throw in real quick. I love What We Do in the Shadows. It's like one of my favorite movies of all time. So what was it like to work with Taika?
It was amazing. Taika is, he's just such an amazing guy and so easy to work with and funny all the time. Like when I was working, because they were getting other people to do the vampire stuff and they just needed the werewolves, and so I just built some quickly at my place and flew over and did it. But it was it was funny all the time, just dream job. It was just ultra low budget, really just get in there and do stuff, and it was just it was as fun making it as it was watching it.
Yeah, he seems like he'd be like just hilarious all the time. So that's funny that you say that, because he seems like he's always on.
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to talk with me today. Seriously, Love and Monsters was one of my favorite movies of 2020. So this is exciting.
I'm so happy to hear that. That's great.
Because of all the like monsters. I love that stuff. Anyone who knows me knows I love I like gore and stuff, but I'm also a big fan of like the monsters, and they just look good.
Yeah, gore's okay, but monsters is where all the fun's at.
Yeah, they looked like, it made sense to me. Like, this is a post-apocalyptic world where this frog mutated into this creature, and it worked out well. So bravo, great job. It really phenomenal.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for taking the time to talk with me today.
You're welcome. Thanks.
Have a great day. Bye.